Hi everyone, it's Katie here and welcome to a video I felt inspired to make and to talk about from things that I've been seeing in my sessions lately because I get so much cool information and I'm like, I better tell some people these things because this is cool and interesting and important, right? So a lot of the people that watch this channel and come to see me are really excited to work with their galactic consciousness and to up-level their gifts and your gifts and your ability to be with your family, be with your higher octave angels and your Syrians and your Pleiadians and your fractals of yourself, to go on missions, to go out at night, to advance your skills. And something interesting that I've been seeing lately is the message that they give often is there's nothing wrong with your gifts. There's nothing wrong with your skills. There's nothing wrong with your abilities. You're already on some level very talented, very well trained, very well taught how to do psychic surgery, how to be a healer, how to embody Christed consciousness, how to emanate light, how to run color through the body, how to use sound. What we're learning to do on this domain is kind of flip it on the inside out and understand that at our very core, and this is why seeing is so cool in the multidimensional field, at our very core, we are already very deeply I think they've said it before, like a PhD on PhD, master of light. So what they're showing me lately for people is like, they're not even talking about upgrading their gifts. They're not even talking about supporting them to recalibrate things. They're going into things that have nothing to do with spiritual gifts or psychic gifts, and they're going into layers, constructs and templates of density that their physical human body is carrying, that their endocrine system is holding, that the constructs of each chakra template embodied from the family members are carrying, and they're showing the need to dissolve and integrate and understand and love and accept and receive the parts that are hurt, the parts that are repressed. And that could be like, that's obviously very obvious information, right? You need to look at the parts of you that are hurt. But I feel like they just made me make a video and I just wanted to share. There are deeply intricate aspects of our multidimensional field that are dissoluting the higher vibratory structure of our frequency. So let me try and explain how I see multidimensional energy fields, and then you can come on a visual journey with me, because come with me. So basically, the way I look at someone's energy field, we have a chat, and then I call in their guides, their healing team, and I call in everyone, and then I just get a message, right? I can see their guides, I can feel the information impresses upon me, and I go, your higher self says you're doing great, or your higher self says you need to just relax, like take some pressure off yourself. That's a message that I get a lot. So if you're out there putting so much pressure on yourself to be better and to grow and to see more and to do this, maybe you're coming at it from too much of a masculine perspective of analysis. Do one more course. Maybe you're hungry for information and you're reading astrology and tarot and crystals and exploring Lemuria and the Akashic records and past lives and galactic technology and out-of-body experiences and breath work. Like, maybe you're going through the part where you're the student and you're taking in lots of information and you're analyzing data and you're learning and you're restructuring your beliefs. Simultaneously, the feminine needs to be cared for the aspects of you that are needing to be felt and empathized and emotionally regulated and soothed, because there is like a treadmill that you can go on, like when you're at the airport and you can walk, but you can go on that travel later where you're just on a path of one stream of getting information and getting to the point of I'm almost there to figure out who I am and what I'm doing, right? But you might be neglecting the parts of you, and you might not even be aware, right? Like, there's so much sub and unconscious programming that we're dissolving at this time, where you're doing this from a space of lack, or you're doing it from a space of frustration, or you're doing it from a space of being deeply lonely, right? So what they show in some sessions is going back to what I see in the frequency. I get the messages, and then essentially I just, like I do with all my channelings, open up a portal of light over the field, and I start to read all of the multi-layered, multi-vibrational essences and energies and frequencies that make up someone's field. So let me try and explain. Imagine that you can see, there's like dog toys, and there's like, it's like bars of metal, and then you put a treat inside, and it's like, maybe I should like get an image here. I'll get an image here. So basically, imagine this as a sphere, and then there's strands of light running this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, and then that's their multidimensional field, right? And as I go in, I see like clouds of energy or density or this or that, or I feel heaviness, or there's gunk in the inside lining of the multidimensional auric field. This is super simplified, by the way. And then what they show me is, as I start to clear, they show me the most important thing to clear. And the very first thing I go into will be the emotions that you've been holding most readily and most recently in your life. So if you've been feeling frustrated, if you've been feeling overworked, if you've been feeling like you're taking on the responsibility of the world and nobody's here to help you, we start to release that energy. So it usually looks like a cloud of smoke going, and I take it into full God source light, or I use galactic technology, or I work with the angels, and I'm like, bye, love you, thank you, don't need you, we appreciate you, goodbye, and all that energy, and it usually spirals, and I watch it go. So I stay with that energy, and usually I feel the person go, ah. So that's just one layer of gunk that you've been carrying around that's diluting your ability to connect to the truth of you. The truth of you isn't frustrated. The truth of you isn't hurt. The truth of you isn't all these things, right? So what we're doing is we're chipping away layer by layer, understanding when did this construct of energy, pattern, emotion, belief, structure begin. So I say, okay, the next energy that I've just found in someone's multidimensional field is frustration that they had to be molded by a certain way by their family to fit in. So maybe they took a job that they didn't really like to do, or did agree because it was money, or it supported the belief structures of their family and they did it for acceptance, or they didn't know there was another way 20 years ago, right? And then I look at the layering and the template of how those choices have molded and shaped the individual expression of your consciousness here and now today in 2025 as your human self, right? So there's the layering within this orb of the human energy field, and this is complex, right? And someone said something really cool in a session. She goes, do you listen to Bashar? And I was like, yeah, I used to listen to Bashar. I don't listen to anyone anymore, but I was a time where I liked the messages and it was interesting. And then she's like, but I just don't feel like they get the complexity of human consciousness. And I was like, that's so true. It's very much like, follow your passion, follow your excitement, follow your light. A big part of healing isn't following your excitement. It's going into the part of you that feels absolutely not excited, absolutely angry, absolutely frustrated, right? And I just thought that was a beautiful thing. She was like, I feel like those aliens don't get it, like how hard it is as down here on ground floor. So, and another client said the other day, I judge my psychic gifts because the messages I get are negative, and then I don't want to feel like I'm judging that person by saying, oh, I found this bad energy in your field. I don't want to judge them. So I want to encourage, if there's any rules or parameters that you've placed on how your healing should look or how your journey should look, that it stays in the light, that you stay in your excitement, that you stay, no. Healing is messy, it's ugly, it's expansive, it can be explosive, it can be sometimes destructive, it can be liberating. Like, there are so many fractals of yourself that you're looking to explore. Finding a healthy medium to explore these repressed energies is really important. So that's why I made music. Like, I probably wouldn't be here if I didn't compose music. Or I don't know, I wouldn't be who I am. So making music is an amazing way to take an energy in your field and transpose and translate it into the sonic waves and energetic structure of sound, right? It's a physical and an energetic wave that travels through air and space and time, right? So So finding an outlet as you move through the distortions of energy is really, really powerful. Maybe it's writing, maybe it's singing, maybe it's screaming on a mountain, maybe it's going op shopping with your friends and saying how you really feel, maybe it's cooking. Whatever it is, transforming the density that's in your field and like dancing or breathwork, getting it out, or having a session, right, is really, 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 really important, because I promise you, back to how I see the multidimensional layering of the field, there are constructs of societal impressions and molding of the family and belief patterns of your culture and distortions of the system that have been interwoven into the fabric of your vessel, into your cells, into your bones, into your organs. And this is what I see in sessions, is how like the mother's need to control what she eats and how she looks and how people perceive her is a mechanism of control. And you may not absorb the way that the mechanism is being expressed, meaning you might not care about how you look, but your mom did, or you might not care about keeping up with the Joneses or the appearances, but maybe the mechanism of control is, I will be the best that I can be at work, and I will never let anyone down, and I will always do my best, and I will never give myself a break. That's a mechanism of control, right? So this is what they were showing me, like a template. They always show me like this. Imagine now I'm reading your human energy body field, and the layering, imagine that your human meat suit is like a jumper that's hand woven, and there's threads and fibers everywhere, but they're not material, they're frequencies and vibrations and strings of vibrating energy. So as you move across your multidimensional layering of all these patterns, like what's that thing called where you sew all those patches together, like a patchwork blanket? That is you. Imagine a patchwork blanket, and there are certain templates on your multidimensional field, which is the accumulation of your human energy field, your higher self, all of your soul's template, right? The blueprint of your soul's template. There might be mechanisms of control that are affecting you in other ways that you are unconscious to seeing and recognizing, but they are affecting your consciousness and your vibration and the way that you perceive and behave and act and react. These are the things that we are looking at this time to investigate really closely and say, hey, why am I like that? Why do I do this? And you might not even be aware of your patterns and behaviors right now, but it might be coming out in the way that you feel. So one client, I said, yeah, you can feel a lot lighter. And she said, oh, I thought I just felt heavy because I'm not meant to be here on this human planet and I don't want to be here. And while that's one part of it, another part of it is you feel dense in your body because you're holding density from a lot of different sources that you don't need to hold anymore, and you've been holding them for so long that you don't even realize that they're there. The analogy they gave one person is there's a washing machine and there's a sock and an old tie and another sock from your kid, and it's been going around and around in the washing machine and you just didn't ever pick it up and you forgot it was there, and then over time the washing machine gets a bit fuller and fuller and fuller, and then you're like, why isn't this working properly or spinning fast enough, right? It's not spinning fast enough because you haven't cleared out and looked and investigated and honored and respected and loved and transmuted and healed those parts that are holding those dense emotions, right? So as we deconstruct, it was really cool. They showed me the template of the mother's control mechanism, is the word that I'm using, and what I was able to do was like bloop, 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 pull out one thread, da, 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 and then they always ask the client, they say, do you get permission to release this now that you're conscious of it and you see how it affects you and you understand that it doesn't resonate or work for you anymore? And as soon as that person says yes, bada bing, bada boom. Energy is the coolest thing ever because it just clears. If you know how to clear it and find it and locate it and give it permission to release, it's so fast. And as an Aries and someone who has ADHD and is like impatient and like, the fuck, like, can we move on with this? Like, can we instantly manifest already? Can we get onto unity consciousness already? Can we just get over this boring, everyone's being like robot, like, you know what I mean? Like, energy is the coolest modality, and multidimensional energy is the coolest modality, because what you're able to do, and what I was able to do, is find this template, and we didn't clear it all at once. It can take time and take several goes. Like, you don't sew a silk rug in one day. No, it takes time to create and to dissolve, but it's really very quick once you understand that we are templates and encodings and recordings and mechanisms of frequency patterns that are holding us into this standing wave pattern that is the appearance of a physical body. Damn, put that on a t-shirt. So as you come to learn to deconstruct these templates, this is where liberation is going to be your everyday state once you release the density. They also said there are so many aspects of the inner child that had been shut down and repressed. So if you feel heaviness in your throat, if you've got health conditions that the doctor can't really explain why there's pain in your back or why there's this, the body is really holding on to all of that and yearning for a way for that to be released. So learning yourself how to clear energy from the subconscious, the unconscious realms, the back of the energy field. This is the time to step up on your energetic maintenance, your energetic hygiene, and your exploration of your inner fractals. So they always show me the babushka doll, the inner self. And this is why I did the reparenting program the way that I did it. So we move through in the womb, in the birthing process, ages 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4. So there are all of these poignant aspects of development where your chakra bodies, or these templates, are being encoded about how to experience safety, about how to experience freedom, about how to experience self-confidence. And if those templates, as they were being developed in these parts of you, these vibrating strings of energy that inform how you behave, how you think, how you act, how you relate to others and relate to yourself, have had a distortion or a code, what they show me, I hope this makes sense. I trust that it does. You guys are smart, and I think this makes sense. They showed me lots of different vibrating strings of like a harp, right? And as you pluck along the harp, something that's harmonically resonant and something that is being in its original state of harmony sounds beautiful. But if something happens along the way in the formation of these notes, as the strings of energy are being created through this interplay of light and sound and reality and physicality and higher dimensions, all in one plane of existence, earth, school, is a trauma happens, or a lack happens, or a new belief is encoded that your mother won't be there, or your father won't be there, or your safety is threatened because you were yelled at, or because you were denied your expression as a child, or your mother told you to shut up, or whatever, right? There are hundreds of thousands of ways that our parents can F us up, right? And we got a lot of them because the 90s and the 80s and the 70s, right? The 60s. Oh, it's been such a long journey. So all of these ways is like a dampener on the harp of our frequency. So instead of the note being plucked and oscillating and vibrating in harmony with everything, it no longer sounds, and it's stagnated, and the energy is trapped there. The energy no longer flows. The energy no longer is vibrant and vivacious and expansive. And it detunes your multidimensional field. And this is why I love sound therapy. Everything is sound. Everything is emitting a sound, whether you know it or not. And your voice carries the coding of all of the sound. So if you speak in a monotonous way, there are strings within you that are actually dampened because of trauma and blocked emotional energy pathways. But if you speak like this and all of your voice goes up and down and you're speaking the full range of notes, it's a pretty good indication that your internal and frequency health is doing pretty good, right? So what they showed me is, as you move through these constructs of development, and if the frequencies are open and expansive, or if they get shut down, the energy doesn't get lost. So they were showing this lady, it was really cool, as you go back, there is an inner 2-year-old that has psychic gifts that got shut down because of fear. That energy didn't go anywhere. So you don't have to go outside of yourself to learn to be psychic. You don't have to go, you can, because you can do healing in many ways. It's always good to go outside, learn information, process it. But you don't have to actually go anywhere but within to get the information, because there's an inner 2-year-old that's trapped and that energy is stagnated. And guess what? You go back and set that little 2-year-old free with energy healing work or meditation or inner child work or timeline clearing, whatever method that you want to do, trusting that energy is really powerful and very fast and effective. That energy of that 2-year-old restores you, and then guess what? Boing, 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 boing. That string of the harp gets to be retuned and recalibrated, and that energy didn't die, didn't go anywhere. It's within you. So then there's a little 4-year-old self that had her dreams crushed because her dad went away to war and she didn't feel safe in the family home anymore, and now she has this feeling of unsafety to be able to play with her fairy friends at night, or because she was in a state of fear, she had visitors in her room and she shut down her psychic gifts, right? Nighttime visitors, other energies, whatever the experience is, the safety to connect with higher octaves and other beings, that energy of safety didn't go anywhere. It's been frozen in time, and it's being held in the blueprint of your energy structures. So imagine that the harp now is a string, and the string inside it is hollow, but it's actually not hollow. It's filled with spiraling light. So you've got a harp string filled with light all the way up through here, and the energy is trapped. Donk! It's frozen, but the energy particles of safety are still there. So you can go back and you can connect to your inner 4-year-old self, however you do, and say, okay, I want to look at the fear, I want to look at the abandonment, I want to look at the rejection, I want to look at the neglect, and I want to feel it. Where does it live in my body? It's in my mind. It's a belief that I'm unsafe. It's in my heart. It's a feeling of trapped. It's 6 layers back in the back room of my heart, and all the lights are turned off, and there's a part of me that's in deep, deep, deep rejection and pain. How do I go and be with that part of me and show them that there is still light? How do I allow that part of me to be seen and witnessed and heard and valued and respected? And then this is where energy is cool in galactic consciousness. We can release that trauma, we can release that pain, we can release that fear, and guess what comes back online? The original frequency, which is safety, which is confidence, which is worth, which is power. So this is why healing is cool. It can be a 2-step process, but once you clear what is not you, it's not like nothing is left. If you clear, what's left is what is actually you, which is light, which is energy, which is life, which is love, which is freedom, which is expansion, which is higher octaves. And the more close that you get to the original you, guess what? The more close you get to your galactic family, the more close that you get to your higher self, the more close that you are vibrationally. And this is how your frequency goes bloop, 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 bloop. And then it's really easy to talk to your galactic family, because the Pleiadians aren't walking around with childhood trauma keeping them down. No, right? They've moved through this planetary process of change from the 3rd dimension to the 4th to the 5th, whatever density or dimension, 2 different things that they're existing on, right? So as you clear out these things, and I would say, like, go and do the full ancestral clearing, go and clear the templates of your mother's impressions, your father's impressions, your societal impressions from the templates of your system, because it is kind of mathematical, it is kind of an equation, it is just an influx of different vibrating strings that are either ding or tick, right, dampened or activated. And then I would say do the reparenting program as well. Go through the different ages and be very gentle with yourself as you move through that. And guess what comes back to you? It is you. And you are awesome. And you are powerful. And you are... Do you know what? Most of the people that I've ever seen for a session, their guides are like, you're like an ascended master, or you're like a information wisdom keeper from the 12th dimension, or an aspect of you walked alongside Jesus and healed physical bones, or an aspect of you fix Stargate portals. An aspect of you was a geneticist in the hybridization program. An aspect of you is a key wisdom keeper in the Akashic fields. An aspect of you is used to be or is concurrently a angelic hotline for prayers, right? So there are so many sessions where there's actually nothing wrong with your psychic gifts. You're really, really powerful and like really talented. It's the innerness that we've come here to look at. So I hope this encourages you to flip the script. Maybe you can cool it on getting more gifts, and you go inward a little more and be like, where are the parts of me that have the nuggets of gold and the energy that's trapped inside my vibrating strings of my templates that are ready to be expanded and felt and heard. And it's not all pretty, and I'm making it sound easier than it is sometimes, because I know this myself. I've done some QHHT, and I see my therapist regularly to go on really interesting journeys where I talk to God and talk to all these things and get information about myself. And sometimes the things that I see that happen to me and happen to my mom take me 3 weeks to recover from, because it's, excuse my language, it's fucking sad, right? The things that we've been through. And that deserves time and love and space and nurturing and care and feeling and the senses to be supported. So it's an amalgamation of learning and the masculine energy of understanding and growing, but it's also the femininity of allowing and expressing and feeling and holding resonant and true the parts of you that were neglected, right? Because once you come to the core of it and you express the emotion, what remains is you. And you are good, you are whole, you are healed, you are well, you are together, and you're just in a state of flux of which version of yourself you're perceiving yourself as right now. So they showed me like the babushka doll of the inner child, and then the 5-year-old self, the teenage self, the adult self, the galactic self, all of these layers. When you're expanding to your multidimensionality, you're not going anywhere. You're shifting the way that you can perceive the totality of yourself from which lens. So there are eyes and lenses and all of these versions of yourself that are collapsing. Unconsciously this happens. It just is an effect of shifting your frequency, and you're sometimes in your most expanded state and you walk around, you're like, I'm a powerful being, ain't nobody gonna fuck with me, right? And then sometimes you're like, I'm very vulnerable and everyone can hurt me. So it doesn't mean if you've been in the vulnerable perspective for 3 years that anything's wrong with you. You're just at a lens or a perspective of where you are in your expansion and contraction journey. And you know what? The expansion and contraction will slow down soon and even out. You might be really contracted into the pain and then really elated, but soon, you know what? It's going to turn even keel, because the spin cycle is going to slow down and you're just going to solidify your light body into all of these notes that are now being strung and plucked as one beautiful symphony of even tones, of even timbres. There's nothing too dull or activated, and then you balance out and you're like, oh, everything in my life feels different. I'm in flow, I'm in synchronicity, right? But it's fucking complicated to get there. Excuse my language. So I hope that helps you understand something. I hope there's one thing that you can take away from that, and to go and be with the parts that hurt, the parts that feel heavy, because you can't just want to get your gifts more without also healing. Okay, my friends, that being said, if you do want to learn how to do all of these things, I'm going to make my multidimensional energy training an on-demand course. In the course, it teaches you how to read your energy field, how to clear energy out of your field, how to move through each chakra body and do this for yourself, how to work with galactic consciousness, how to read your auric field, how to go into the angelic realm to get healing. It's pretty much a course that I use to heal myself. So if you don't want to be in the group, we're capped for March anyway. I'm probably not going to do another one till September. If you do want to start to move through how to do this stuff for yourself, send me an email. I'll put a link below to do the course as an on-demand. And you can always, I think what I'm going to do is do 1 monthly live. So anyone who wants to do the course, we can meet like on the 17th or something. And you can be like, how do I do this? Or how do I do that? Because I'm really getting the awareness that people being empowered to do this stuff for themselves and locate energy and clear out the sub and unconscious with activations and with lessons is the next chapter, because all of the light workers that are watching this are being upgraded to be helping others, but we can't help others until we're feeling really clear and light and fulfilled and recalibrated ourselves. So I love you guys, and thanks for listening. Leave your comments below because I think everyone benefits from hearing that, and I wish you all the best on your inner healing journey. Bye.